Planty people, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're wondering why I haven't been posting as frequently, that is because I was posting for 31 days of videos. I challenged myself for the month of July to post a video every single day. Since then, I have been feeling very lazy and feeling very laid back and haven't been wanting to just sit down and film a whole lot. I've just been kind of like taking some time to myself, chilling. The past like 2 weeks or so, I have worked a lot of days consecutively in a row at work, and it's just draining sometimes. And so whenever I do have a day off in between those time frames, I have just been wanting to like do nothing. And if I do anything plant related, I like to, sometimes I put things off because I know I'll be like, oh, I want to save that for a video, but then it'll be put off and put off and be put off. But now I realize that I need to be in the mindset of, if I don't want to film it, I shouldn't film it. If I want to, like a lot of the times I like to repot things, but sometimes I like to just do that by myself and not have to worry about editing or anything like that, because repotting is absolutely one of my favorite things to do, and sometimes I feel like I run out of things to talk about and entertain you guys with, so I might just do repotting only when I have something significant to talk about. But, long tangent, here we are today. I'm filming 2 Hoya videos today. This one is my top 5 fastest growing Hoyas, and this is just the top 5 of the Hoyas that I currently own. There are probably tons and thousands of Hoyas that are faster or the same speed. I just don't know them. But yeah, these are my top 5 fastest growing Hoyas. I first wanted to talk about my absolute favorite Hoya, and I know that it's probably gonna come off as like a lame, like boring Hoya, but this is the plant that really got me started. This is the plant that I saw for the first time on Betsy Begonia's YouTube channel, because she has a huge, magnificent Hoya of this. She has a huge, magnificent plant and is goals, and I would love to one day have one as huge and magnificent as hers, and that is Hoya Bella. Hoya Bella is the reason why I'm obsessed. It is the reason why I love plants. This guy grows ridiculously fast. I have another one that I have on a shelf. I've always got cuttings of them propagating because whenever I do trades or anything like that, I always include some. And yeah, I just love Hoya Bella. One thing to note is that Hoya Bella likes to have a little bit more water than a lot of other Hoyas. I know a lot of advice that, you know, me and other, you know, YouTubers or plant tubers or plant people in general will say, make sure that you let your Hoyas dry out in between waterings. And that is not the case for this Hoya Bella. Hoya Bella likes to produce peduncles a lot. Like both of my mature Bellas produce peduncles on the daily, but I have yet to still get their watering routine down, like aced. This one I've got it down pretty good because it's in Leca, and but she hasn't produced any peduncles for me recently. But anyway, they like to produce peduncles quite often, and 9 times out of 10, when the peduncles fall off, like early, like prematurely, it is because they're not getting enough water. So when you're watering your Hoya Bellas, I would totally recommend not letting it go completely dry, maybe letting it go close to dry, maybe like 80% dry, and then make sure you top it off. And then you will have a beautiful, nice, flowing Hoya Bella. My other one, I am giving it a complete break. I gave her so many haircuts, like at the beginning of the year, because I was trading with people, so she is taking a break and no more cuttings are coming from her. So if there are any cuttings, it's gonna come from this guy. And yeah, he grew from maybe a few strands, but he branches off so much. Like there's so much new growth. If you look right here, there's new growth, there's new growth. Right here, like it's just, he's just always growing for me. And I love Hoya Bellas, my absolute favorite. I know it's lame, but I love her. I love how I talk about plants. I'll say him, and then the very next sentence I'll say her. I'm just gonna go with it. Okay, so the next one I'm gonna have to do just like some sort of split screen because it is intertwined up my like my Brantianum like kind of rests on my blinds, on the, you know, the string that pulls down your blinds, and my Hoya Australis is tendriling up the Brantianum and tendriling up those strings. He is going crazy. Hoya Australis is definitely one of those ones that you kind of want to look at the leaves and see if they're getting floppy, getting wrinkly, and then that's when you want to water them. But as soon as I let this guy, I gave him the small little, I took the post out of one of my orchids and I gave it to him because he was in need of it, because none of my orchids are in bloom right now. But as soon as I attached him to that that pole or trellis, if you want to call it, he completely started, like all the tendrils actually started producing new foliage. There for a little while it was just tendriling, and it had the little growth points for the foliage, but they weren't actually coming out. So if you are also having the same type of issue, try and give your Hoya Australis or whatever Hoya or whatever plant that you have, try giving them some sort of support, and maybe that will actually help them push out the new foliage that they are trying to push out. But yeah, I love Hoya Australis, so pretty. I love how the new growth comes in like this really dark, like burgundy, purpley red color. And I just love seeing new growth. If you want to, if you're not really into Hoyas, but you're into new growth and just seeing your plants happy, Hoya Australis is your girl, because every single day it seems like there's a new leaf, and those tendrils just get higher and higher up on going up my Brantianum. So yeah, definitely would recommend Hoya Australis. For the next three, we're gonna have to go into my kitchen and go check them out, because one of them is an outside plant, or two of them are outside plants, and another one is I just keep in my kitchen windowsill. So let's go. So we're in my kitchen, so I know that there's a horrible echo going on, but if we go outside, then we risk having to listen to all the people who want to race up and down the street. We risk my AC unit coming on really loud and abruptly, and I thought that this was kind of like the lesser of two evils. Plus, I don't want to lug these gigantic plants all the way up the stairs into the bedroom to film. So here we are. Thanks for staying and enjoying my top 5 fastest growing Hoyas. Roll one. All right, so right next to me is my first Hoya that I've ever purchased, and this is Hoya Way Eddy. Hoya Way Eddy is freaking awesome. So much new growth. If you look at all these little all the red foliage, that is not sun-stressed foliage. That is new foliage that is coming in. So if you can tell, like all the, I know it's not the best lighting. Let me see if I can turn something on for you guys. Okay, I hope that this lighting might be a little better, because this is what we got. Anyway, now I think you can tell a little bit more of the red foliage against the green foliage. Like I said, all the red foliage is new growth, and there's quite a bit of it. And a common thing that you will see in some of my fastest growing Hoyas is that they're already kind of mature plants. It is much easier for mature, well-established plants to produce newer growth, at least in my opinion, from my experience. Hoya Way Eddy, he doesn't need to be watered very much. He is very carefree. He likes to just go with the flow. He is so cool. One of my favorite Hoyas, my first ever Hoya. He'll always have a really significant place in my heart. He's bloomed for me the first time this year, which was absolutely freaking amazing. I'll give you guys a little teaser. My next video is going to be like a peduncle tour, where I show you guys all of my Hoyas that have peduncles and that are currently blooming. I thought I'm not going to show you the blooms that are currently occurring on this Way Eddy, because what fun would that be? whenever you're just gonna see it again. So stay tuned for the next video. Hoya Way Eddy also has a ton of tendrils, and do not cut off the tendrils because a lot of the times those are where the peduncles are gonna bloom from. That's where they're gonna sprout from. And if you cut off the tendrils, even though there's no foliage on it, like foliage grows on those tendrils. It just sometimes takes a little bit more time. So don't cut them off, even though they're not the most pleasing. If you want your peduncles, if you want your Hoyas to peduncle and to bloom for you, don't cut the tendrils. Don't do it. Okay, so the next one is my Hoya Croniana. That's how I pronounce it. Tell me if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly. Let me know in the comments down below. But that's how I'm pronouncing it. Hoya Croniana green form. This guy has grown so much for me. I've had him a few months, and if you see how long maybe like this little vine is, that's how long all of the vines were. There is a ton of new growth, and they come in really cute and tiny. Like look how tiny that is. Like, that's so cute. And they come in like really red. It is a very common theme that I've been noticing with Hoyas to come in with new growth that is like burgundy / purple / deep dark red. Very fast growing Hoya, doesn't ask for a lot. Kind of similar to a Hoya lacinosa. Even the blooms are very similar to Hoya lacinosa because they're white and fuzzy, I do believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I do believe. This guy has a few peduncles for me. I think a few. Okay, maybe just one. He's lost one before. But there's one currently on here. Like I said, I will show you guys more close up and in detail in the next video. Yeah, he's really cool. I love how like perfectly heart shaped that the leaves are. He's also very similar to Hoya australis. You kind of want to wait until the soil dries out and the leaves get I wouldn't say a lot wrinkly and a lot floppy, but once the soil is completely dried out, make sure you give the plant a nice gulp of water. I really like this guy. I even have a Hoya Croniana Eskimo, but it doesn't grow anywhere near as fast as the regular green form. All right, so the next plant is one that I don't think a lot of people think are fast growers, but this guy has been a very, very, very fast grower for me. I have taken a plethora of cuttings from this Hoya. It is a very full basket. I got this guy from a Home Depot, and it just seems like the more cuttings I take from it, the more it wants to grow, which is awesome because that means I can take more cuttings. But just kind of like my Hoya Bella, I'm gonna give this guy a little bit of a break. And let's go ahead and introduce you to a Hoya that I don't think a lot of people think of whenever they're thinking of fast growing Hoyas. And that is Hoya Cartesia. Cartesia is the easiest way that I can pronounce it. I don't think that's how it's actually pronounced, but that's how I pronounce it. So this guy sits in my windowsill right over there, because that's a lot of information that you need to know. I have yet to like completely untangle this guy, and I don't really plan on doing it, but he has a ton of new growth. If you look on the top here, you can see lots of growth up here. And if you want to, I guess the one way you could think of new growth, it's kind of like baby hairs. Whenever you have new little baby hairs growing in, they're kind of like wild and untamed. That's kind of like Hoya Cartesia. Like, her baby hairs are all over the place, always growing. I don't know, she's just a very happy plant. I think I've definitely, if you've been watching my channel for a while now, you'll know that I've had one of these guys before, but that was almost 10 years ago, and I drenched the crap out of it. And since then, I really am careful about the watering. I wait for not only for the pot to get completely dry, like I can tell whenever it's got a little bit of moisture in it just by the weight of it, and it's just in a plastic pot, so that makes it a little bit easier to tell the weight of it. But I also, like every single day, I go over and I feel a leaf or two. And if they still feel really nice and firm and hard, I leave it alone. Now, if I've noticed that it's been about a week and the pot has felt really light and I haven't watered it in a while and the leaves still feel pretty firm, I might go ahead and give it a drink. Because then I feel pretty confident that after a week of it not being watered, and even though the foliage still feels good, I feel confident enough to go ahead and give it a nice drink of water, and knowing that I won't kill it immediately as soon as I do that. We've come a long way. This relationship has mended itself. We had a fork in the road, but we came back to each other, and that's all that really matters. And yeah, that is it for today's video. Let me know in the comments down below if you agree with my top 5 fastest growing Hoyas. Let me know if you guys have faster growing Hoyas. Let me know in the comments down below if some of the Hoyas that grow fast for me don't grow fast for you. And we can talk about it. We can talk about tips and tricks and how to make our plants thrive. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you with the Planty family. And yeah, we're just having a good time. We hang out with plants, we hang out with cats. It's a super good time. So yeah, if you like the video, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you really like the video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Stay tuned for my peduncle tour, because it's a coming.